Yes, guys, I have delivered a damaged hot tub before, and I got out of it. And so can you if you follow and listen to my story. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Eddie V. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my videos that I post literally every single day. I post about trucks, cars, power sports, shorts videos, you name it. I post a lot of very interesting, cool stuff, and including fuel price of the fuel crisis in America, or the whole world technically. But I don't film fuel prices in Saudi Arabia because I don't live there. Anyway, let's get straight to the point. Now, there's gonna be pictures on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. I picked up a load of hot tubs, and I love picking up hot tub loads, even though they could be a little tricky. But I picked up a load of hot tubs out of Las Vegas, Nevada, going to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is Shreveport, Louisiana is one of the bumpiest cities on car or truck to ever drive through. Their roads are just trash. Truckers comment down if you agree with this. Now, anyway, I picked up this load of hot tubs, and almost with any hot tubs, the only thing they require tarped is the lids. The lids or the covers of the hot tubs are folded up and packaged in cardboard, and they want you to tarp the cardboard. That way the cardboard doesn't get managed. Now, in this case, what story I'm talking about, you unroll the tarp. They have a special extension to the forklift, and they just forklift the tarp over the hot tubs and onto the packaged cardboard. You don't have to tarp your whole load, just that section where there's the packaged cardboard. And this was a one-stop load. This was not multiple stops. And if you look in the pictures, you have to put 2 straps over each row of hot tubs, and you got to put a belly strap in the middle. So that's how I did it. I always put a belly strap in the middle. I mean, not in the middle, but like there's 2 sets of hot tubs, and on the bigger hot tubs, I would always put a belly strap, which is a 2-inch strap running across, right in between, on the sides, on the corners again, between the 2 stacks of hot tubs on top. It helps out so the load doesn't shift and stays in place. And I recommend, if you ever pick up hot tubs, to do the same way. Just make sure whenever you put those straps, you don't strap too tightly, and it's only on the corners of the hot tub. That's always the way I have done it. Now, the load did cause a little bit of issues. My tarp started ripping a little bit. Why, I don't know. I think it's because the tarp load was covering some of the hot tubs, and in the wind it started catching on the plastic of the cardboard of the packaging of the hot tubs. Some hot tub loads are different, to where the lids that you have to tarp is in the front of your trailer, and you just have to tarp the front, and your tarp's not gonna rip off from cardboard. But apparently I think it's the wind. Anyway, it was a nice trip. I remember it pretty well. There was a few like rainy days, but other than that, it was just clear. You get down through Texas, because that's a nice, beautiful route through the desert. I love running through the desert. And you get hit Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and that's where you delivered them. Now, I do gotta say that the hot tub loads are light. You're gonna save money on fuel, and your fuel economy is just gonna be high. It's good. The only thing is, you're as high as a drive, and you're like a high-profile vehicle, so you could be rocked around a little bit if it's very windy. But besides the point, it's a very, in my opinion, one of the easier step deck loads to do if you ever get into step decking. Now, I have got into the delivery site, which there's a sign that says no trucks allowed, but obviously I'm delivering to that warehouse there. I can go. I don't know why there's a sign that says there when there's a hot tub warehouse down in the street where they sell hot tubs and spas or whatnot, and you have to deliver there. Anyway, besides the point, instead of driving in there, which is going to be a tight area, I pulled forward and backed up into their long driveway, and I just parked there, and I started on tarping, on bunging my tarp, and I started on strapping, and they come out. The first guy said he was fine. Wherever I moved for him, that's fine. The other guy comes out, you got to move all the way back. I'm like, I am not moving back. I already said, look, I unstrapped the load. it's unstrapped. I'm not strapping it back to move. If something happens, it's on you. So they didn't argue that. The guy, I don't know what he was, but they were able to grab the tarps just perfectly. Then they were unloading, and one of the tarps just simply had a problem. Now, it wasn't a critical damage. You could still buy the tarp, but the Hottub, but it had a scratch around the edge. The packaging ripped open somehow, and it had a scratch on the top of the Hottub. No cracks, so just scratch. It looked worse because the packaging was ripped open. It looked like something actually punctured through and damaged it, but just a scratch basically. And they wanted to blame me for it. I said, I'm not to blame. First of all, there wasn't even a strap in that area, and I looked at pictures. According to the damage below, the strap where the damage was, there was no strap. Was nearby, but it wasn't near enough to where it would cause damage. That was just not in the vicinity or the area of where the damaged Hottub was. So, what it ended up doing, they didn't want to sign paperwork, but their signature was on there, okay? Their signature was on there as a signed paperwork. So what I ended up doing is I wrote down, before sending the paperwork out to the broker, that Hottub was damaged. And I wrote a brief description where and what, and then I wrote down not driver's fault, and underneath is their signature. And I told where I delivered, you have to work out with where you ordered those Hottubs because it ain't my fault. And that's the way I did it. I never heard a single word from the broker about it. They didn't care, because obviously it's not your fault in some situations. If you drove perfectly, didn't bump nothing, and just somehow when they all of a sudden unloaded and they unpackage the Hottub, where there's not supposed to be a damage, there is a damage. That is definitely not your fault. Now, I do want to say that they could have done it on purpose because they didn't like the fact that I told them I'm not going to move. Your forklift can get up here. That's the idea that popped in my head, that they could have done it on purpose. So who knows? But remember, guys, if you ever have a damaged load, it's not your fault. Here's some things you should always do. Contact your company if you're just a company driver. Contact your dispatch, contact your broker, explain the situation. But the number one thing you gotta do is have paperwork signed that says it's not driver's fault. Once you have something signed like that, and here's another thing, do not ever admit it's your fault when you go and deliver the load. If you do, they will do a damage claim on you. That is one thing you do not do when you're delivering a load. And that's how you guys can get away with almost any damaged load that's not your fault. Guys, I'm Eddie B. 2064 turn right. This particular package, driving a 10 from the 6 Series.